The future to come in 20 to 30 years. Can it be predicted in the times of global uncertainty? How to map out the contours of the future so that they are more clear and bright. And what can be done by those who are today called the new generation?
Abzal Myrzash, 12-year-old university student. The path of a genius.
Енді әрине де өзімді үлкен ғалымдармен теңестірмеймін өзімді. Осы Альберт Эйнштейннің.
I do not compare myself with great scientists, but since childhood I dream of becoming like Albert Einstein. He discovered the theory of relativity. I also want to make some kind of groundbreaking discovery in my field.
Бір үлкен жаңалық ашқым келеді.
Abzal Myrzash, 12 years of age, lives in the city of Almaty, multiple-time winner of Republican Olympiads in chemistry, physics, and mathematics. Today, Abzal is a student at the Kazakhstan British Technical University. He's the youngest university student in Kazakhstan's history.
Есімде жоқ әрине, бірақ
I don't remember myself, but my parents say that I learned to speak at the age of 1.5, and at 2 already knew the alphabet, and at 3 started reading and writing. Already when I was 3, I'd memorized the multiplication table. A bit later, learned to multiply and divide 2- and 3-digit numbers.
Әлем жаратылыс туралы сұрақтарым көбейе бастаған соң, және
When I turned 5 years old, I started asking my parents too many questions about how planet Earth and the world works. And then my parents decided that it would be better for me to find answers to my questions in books, because they, while trying to answer, could be wrong. As a result, they bought a lot of different books and encyclopedias for me to read.
Sultan, sabahında okuyorsun mu, lise otasın mı? Algebra. Есептер шығарıyorsun.
Ата-анам тек қана қазақ тілі емес, орыс тілінде сөйлеу.
My parents also wanted me to speak Russian well, so I started my first grade in a Russian-speaking school. At that time, I did not understand Russian very well. That is why I have very specific impressions about that time. And when I finished grade 2 in the Russian language school with perfect grades, I was transferred to a Kazakh-speaking school. I spoke Kazakh well, that is why it was not difficult for me to study in that school. The home teacher gave us the textbooks for the 4th grade. I was so curious that I read them in 2 weeks. Then I told my parents that it was no longer interesting for me to study in the 4th grade because I already learned everything. So they wrote a letter asking to have me transferred to grade 5. I passed all the exams for grade 4 and started grade 5. In the second half of the year, I was already studying in 6th grade. Afterwards, I passed all the exams of the 6th grade program. And then, continuing this fast-track completion of each grade, I ended up in grade 11, and therefore graduated from school much earlier.
I know that you are only 12 years old. Is it difficult to be a student of KBTU?
Not really difficult, but well, I'm trying. Just started
Every time that I skipped a grade and ended up in a class with older classmates, it took me some time to establish communication with them. But after 2 to 3 weeks, we already found a common language. My classmates would often copy my homework and tests. That is why I was well respected by my peers.
Виделді және сыйлы болдым.
Сәлеметсіз. Компьютер қолданайын деп.
Бүкіл талабымды, жігерімді ағылшын тілінің.
To be honest, once I started grade 11, it took me half a year to complete the school program for that year. That is why the remaining time I dedicated to improving my English, and I managed to do that. I scored 5.5 on the IELTS test. This is the highest score.
15 балды жинаған болатынмын. Кейін қолыма үздік аттестат алдым. Одан кейін ОБТ-ға
Finished school with distinction. Prepared for the university entrance exam, then scored 117. After that, I received offers from many universities in the country to study there.
ол деген ұсыныстар түсіп жатқан болатын. Менің таңдауым
In the end, I chose the Kazakhstan British Technical University.
негізі менің ойымша мамандықтың бәрін баланың өзі таңдау.
I believe that children should choose their own professions because they might not like what their parents chose for them. Therefore, parents should leave children the right to choose who they want to become.
Балаларына мамандық таңдауға мүмкіндік беру керек. Алғашқыда мен әкем.
In the beginning, I wanted to be a cardiac surgeon like my father. But then my father told me that if I want to be a doctor just because of him, then that is a mistake. He told me to not simply follow what he does. One must choose their own profession.
Не болса да өзің маман.
After this, I started to think differently. In grade 9, I liked the IT department and completely changed my mind.
Өзгерте бастады. Қазіргі жастар көп оқуға, жалқауланбауға тырысу керек. 21-ші.
There is a reason why the 21st century is called the century of information technologies. And we, the youth, do not engage in the development of IT, the older generation will not be able to do that. That is why younger people should not be lazy and should continue to study. Only then we'll be able to develop culturally and technologically as humanity.
Және көптеген әрекеттерді, қызметтерді роботтар атқаратын заманда алыс емес, бірақ дегенмен адамдарға жұмыс жасауға орын қалады деп ойлаймын.
Of course, scientists say that thanks to information technologies, soon will come the time when robots will be able to do many tasks. But I still think that there will still be a lot of work for people. Robots would not be able to perform the work of a doctor or a teacher. They might make mistakes. What's more, in order to make these robots, we need specialists in these fields. That is why human intelligence and brain power will be as necessary for science as air.
Адамның ойы, интеллектісі, еңбегі әлде ғылымға ауадай қажет болады.
Once I chose my professional focus, I started thinking about which university to go to. I looked online, collected information about many universities, and then I realized that the Kazakhstan British Technical University provides all the necessary conditions. I could follow a fast-track program. That is why I chose this university. I received a state grant to study at the Faculty of Information Technologies.
So what are the most important things in leadership? What are the most important qualities of a leader?
A leader must be able to rule his teammates. He should be very organized. I guess it's also important to interact with the teammates a lot. The leader will know more about his mates.
Okay, and who is a bad leader then?
Ең басында балалар бір-бірін білмеген.
In the beginning, because the new students did not know each other, it was very difficult for me to socialize. But gradually, by getting to know each other better, we started finding a common language. My new friends sometimes asked me for help. For example, when they need to solve a complex math problem, I am always ready to help.
Әрдайым көмектесуге дайын тұрамын. Жастардың интернетте көп уақыт өткізеді.
Many young people spend a lot of time online. I think that it is better to spend time productively. I am also part of social networks and use the internet. But I do this not for entertainment, but in order to prepare for my studies.
Мақсатында пайдаланып жүр. Менің мамандығым
My future profession will require me to spend a lot of time sitting behind a computer. This kind of work must be complemented with physical activity.
Молодец. Хорош. Абзал, сен аяғың ыңғайлы тұрсаш, өзімізді ұстап тұрғансың ғой. Так, ауысамыз.
Тек қана сабақ оқып қана қоймай, мен сонымен қатар спортпен де айналысам.
In order not to limit myself with just studies, I do sports. I believe that every man must be physically healthy, learn and enduring.
нәрсеге шыдамдылық, төзімділік көрсететін адам болу керек. Менің аптасына 3 рет боксқа қатысып.
That is why 3 times a week I do boxing. This makes me more active, and overall I really like boxing.
Және де осы боксқа қатысып жүргенім маған қатты ұнайды. Осы аулада
In the neighborhood, I have a lot of friends who are my age, 12 to 13 years old. I have 3 to 4 people who are my closest friends. We have fun and play together. For example, we go to the park and ride our bikes or go rollerblading, and I really like this. My friends, first and foremost, I value loyalty and devotedness. Secondly, I like their honesty, and I also value kindness in people who try not to hurt anyone. And of course, I'm interested in people who strive towards the pursuit of knowledge. I like hiking in Kazakhstan's mountains. I especially like the Trans-Ili Alatau. I have a brother and a sister. They are also good students. If they have difficulty solving a problem for school, then I, as the older brother, try to explain and help them. In my free time, I like to read fiction. My favorite writer is Mukhtar Awezov. I read his books, such as Kokserek and Karash Karash. Now, once I have some free time, I would like to read The Path of a Bai. I really admire people like Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates who have made a great contribution to the computerization of the world, thereby making the lives of people easier. I have set a similar task for myself. I would like to make a contribution to making people's lives easier.
Адамның өмірін солай жеңілдеткім келеді. Еліміздің әлі де көп саласы қатты дамымаған.
I'm worried by the fact that many sectors in our country are still not as developed as they could be. For example, computers and telephones are manufactured not in Kazakhstan, but in China. My dream is for Kazakhstan to also manufacture these products.
Өнімі болғанын қалаймын. Қазір енді Қазақ-Британ техникалық университетінде шетел тілі деген бағдарлама арқылы оқу мүмкіндігі жасалып отыр.
Today, KBTU offers an option to pass exams without attending lectures. And at the moment, my goal is to graduate from university not in 4, but in 3 years, and to continue my studies abroad. I would like to get accepted to the master's program of the Massachusetts University in the US, specializing in information systems and nanotechnologies.
Оқып, ғылымымды тереңдетсем деп ойлап отырмын. ақш-тағы MIT-да оқуды.
Why do I want to attend specifically the Massachusetts University? Because in the United States, great advances have been made in the field of science, and the fact that many of the Nobel laureates are from the US attests to this. That is why I would like to study in the US at the MIT University. But after completing my master's in the US, I will come back to Kazakhstan to make my own contribution to the development of education and science.
Қазақстан ғылымына өз үлесімді қосқым келеді. 10 жылдан кейін енді болашағымды.
In the future, in 10 years, this is how I see myself. I have already finished my university studies and completed a master's program in the US. I am working in Kazakhstan and have the title of a professor.
Деңгейге ие болған азамат ретінде көремін. Болашақта енді бүкіл қызметті роботтар атқаратын үй ретінде елестетемін.
I am also envisioning that in the future the majority of work will be done by robots, and not just in my house but also in the houses of other people. Thanks to robots, we'll have a lot of free time, and we'll not have to try to squeeze in making food or ironing clothes.
Жұмыстармен бас қатырмай қойса да болады. Көбірек спортпен шұғылда.
We will do more sports and read more books.
Оқитын уақыт болады.
Kazakhstan's wonder kid has all the chances of completing his bachelor's degree at the age of 15, and at the age of 17 completing a master's degree, and receiving his PhD at 18. And he is planning to do all this while working in one of the most in-demand sectors of IT. Today, he is just 12 years old. This is an age that is associated with childhood. However, Abzal Myrzash, considering himself to be a part of a new generation, believes that he has to be a step ahead of others.